There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
Hey, what's going on? And thanks for tuning in to another lunchtime learning session here on CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. It's Friday. Weekend is upon us. But before I send you off for the weekend, we've got a really great show ahead of us today. You know, in a year with so many challenges, especially in the category that is source units, you know, it's unbelievable what this brand has been able to pull off given the circumstance. You know, so many different challenges, like I said, but at the same time, apologies about that little connection today. On our show today, we have the Canadian distributor of Sony in Canada, which is, of course, Gentec distribution. And coming to us live from their Toronto offices is none other than Mr. Nima. We call him Nima J. What's going on, Mr. Nima?
Hey, everybody. Doing good. Ben, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome.
What is this tower of power you have next to you? Goodness gracious me.
We have products. Sony Mobile ES is in Canada, and including our brand new multimedia head unit, the Mobile ES 9500 ES.
You see that smile on my face? When you say product in stock, that makes me happy because I know dealers are happy to hear that too, man.
Yeah, we're happy that we have it, and we can service all of our dealers across Canada.
Awesome. So listen, we've talked about Mobile ES. We've been on this train, you know, for a while now. It's a huge thing for Sony. But I think on today's episode, what we wanted to do is kind of reinforce Sony as a brand and as a partner for dealers in Canada, right?
You got it. So we've had a strong year with Sony, and thanks to all of our dealers in Canada. We had our tough challenges with COVID, just like every other manufacturer, every distributor out there over there, but we made it through. And we're hoping that in 2022, things are going to get better. We already have game plans set up, and Sony's been supporting Canada extremely well throughout the whole COVID situation, and we know we will do better than this year for you guys.
You know, we've got a specialist, you know, the specialist coming on today to kind of train us on a couple key elements here. But I have to say, like you heard me in the beginning, this is a brand that's really been active through thick and thin, through the circumstance. You know, right next to you is a brand new line of product that did not exist last year, and looks like it's only going to grow moving into 2022. And the brand at large, let me be clear about something. Are you at this moment actively seeking out new retail partners for the Sony brand?
You got it, Ben. So right now we're recruiting new Sony dealers and mobile ES dealers all across Canada. We are looking for those high-end shops that are well recognized to handle especially our mobile ES products. With that being said, there is the opportunity for dealers to now have audiophile quality products on their shelves with capacitors all across the products that make the product sound amazing. Now, with that being said, the Mobile ES is not just your ordinary core product that is relabeled. This is a product that's much different from the actual core. It has the better componentry in there, the warranty, 3 years all across, so you can give that perfect sounding system to your customer and be able to back it up with hassle-free warranty programs. And
that's amazing.
Yeah,
awesome.
And with that being said, our dealers are going to be extremely handpicked, chosen. The territory is going to be protected by them, so they know that Gentec and Sony is looking after them.
No, right. It's a true partnership in every word
You
of
got
that,
it.
every
All
sense of
it
the word.
does.
Absolutely.
And it's always been like that. The Sony dealers know that. Gentec and Sony Corp have always looked after the dealers.
Amazing. Let's dive into it. We've got a couple the next hour ahead of us to kind of go through such a big brand. I know we need some help in this category. So why don't we knock on the doors of the man himself that could help us in this? Let's go to Tennessee, where the national product trainer, Mr. Kris Bulla from Sony, is there joining us. What's going on, Kris?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Oh man, listen, we're having a great conversation here on this lunch hour. We're talking about Sony in Canada, Gentec actively seeking out new partnerships. There's an exciting new lineup that's new to everybody, and we're hoping on the CMA show that we can get that information out there so dealers could be like, Sony, eh? Maybe it's time. So hopefully
it's pretty exciting. I mean, Nima, mentioned that Gentec's, hunting, mobile ES retailers. There are some requirements and things that go into being a mobile ES retailer, and we're kind of looking for the cream of the crop, right? So when Nima is kind of opening the door for new ES retailers to come in and kind of join the party, that's a pretty big deal. And like you said, earlier, we've got the product in stock. It's had rave reviews from everybody, consumers, retailers alike. So we're pretty excited about it.
It's a good position. It's a great, let me rephrase it. It is a great position to be in, with the inventory, with the product, with the momentum, might I say. So today's episode, mobile ES is part of the Sony car audio kind of, groupment of products. I think what we want to do today is kind of reinforce why it's so important or so interesting to be a partner with Sony in the car audio category, and why maybe more Canadian retailers should take a closer look. Because I'll be honest, this is a huge brand name, period. Right? And I'm sure you're going to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, let's dive into kind of the benefits that the consumers get from you as a retailer when you have Sony brand in your store, right? So, and you're right. To kind of reinforce what you mentioned. ES is just a portion of our business here, right? It's the newest portion. It's kind of the most exciting just because of its newness and kind of the expert level of the product and the retailers that are supporting it. But we still have an excellent product lineup that surrounds that, right? And stock and inventory issues aside, we're doing our best to make sure that all of our retailers, whether you're ES or not, are well taken care of, right? So the big thing, if you're not currently a Sony retailer or even an ES retailer, there's a couple things that you should probably understand about the Sony lineup, right? So I kind of take people through this one slide because it kind of points out the 4 biggest facts that you can kind of rely on as a Sony retailer. So to start, we've got the best looking displays. I mean, hands down, we've got experts upon experts upon experts in LCD technology, right? We have, one of the most widely popular LCD panel TVs, market in the industry, and a lot of that expertise, that knowledge trickles down to our engineering in the car audio side, right? So you can see when you put our decks up onto a board or into a car, and people just automatically stare at it, it's because they kind of realize how good it looks, right? True color, some of them are anti-glare, so there's a lot easier, visibility in a vehicle, depending on what it is. Just a lot of good benefits that go into that technology.
Before we go too far, I want to make a comment here, Kris. That's not even arguable what you're saying there. Things like Trinitron, Bravia, XBR, these are household names when it comes to screens and what you have in your living room. Decades, right? Decades. So, I love to challenge you on this one. I have nothing to say about that statement right there.
I always welcome a challenge, but
yeah,
listen,
I'll try.
Listen, we have a retailer here in the U.S. that sells both home and car audio. And when the AX5000 came out, this was a while back, they had one of our beautiful, like $10,000 LCD panel TVs on display right in their showroom. And when you walk in their showroom, you turn a corner and that would be the car audio display kind of around the bend, right? So what they did is they put the Sony TV, the Sony TV was there at the end of the wall, right? So you walk past that and you turn the corner, and the first unit you saw was the AX5000, and it was just such a beautiful like concept to see the beautiful panel on both the in-home piece and in the in-car piece, right? It was just a beautiful experience for a customer, and they sold a ton of them because of that, right? So just a lot of good parallels between the two different categories there.
Your customer is, keen on high quality definition, resolution, and imagery when it comes to a screen. Mm-hmm. This one's hard to argue.
Yep, for sure. Mm-hmm. So, next up, beyond, visual kind of acumen that we've got, the sound quality, we're a sound company, right? We do sound in home theater, we do sound in movie theaters, we do sound in movie soundtracks, we do sound in a car, right? Sound in portable devices. We are, sound everywhere basically. So we have to be good at it, right? If we suck at any one of those or a couple of those, then, our kind of pedigree goes down. And we just can't accept that, right? So we've always got very good sounding products, and we always use a lot of technology to kind of back that up. Some of it might be the high power, voltage, the 5-volt pre-outs, for instance, on the decks, or some of the sound processing features like DSO or our parametric EQs and our new 9500. There's just a lot of engineering and kind of precision that goes into these components, right? So, Nima mentioned some of the kind of the ground up build of these ES products. These are not relabeled core line products with a fancier name on them. These are, in fact, built from the ground up, their own version of these products, and have the highest quality components we can buy.
I have heard those comments that before the product was actually shown, they're like, "Oh, great, here's another marketing scam. Take the product, put a new logo on it, put it in a new box, and charge more for it." And this is not the case with ES, and I think we've already gone down that avenue and proven that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some brands that do that, and listen, more power to them, right? I mean, if you can listen, Chevy and GMC do that, right? And there's no shame in it. Like some people like a GMC Sierra, some people like a Chevy Silverado. It's the same truck underneath, okay? So, the GMC guy would argue that, but it's the same truck underneath, So
I got a Silverado.
But at the end of the day, listen, I mean, this ES product was literally designed, and because I was part of that kind of evolution of this product from the ground up, so there are no shared components between them, so it's actually a really great, lineup. So for sure. But, next up, easiest integration. So way back when the AX100, our first CarPlay Android Auto deck was launched, we introduced something that was new for the industry. Now it's kind of taken for granted, but you could simply plug in your USB cable to your phone and to the radio, and it would automatically fire up Android Auto or CarPlay. And that sounds like remedial nowadays, right? But that was, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and you had to select in all the competitors which one you were hooking up or plug it into a different USB slot, right? So, we were the first with kind of that auto detect feature on that. Made life so much easier for both the technician. Let's say maybe he didn't pay attention to what phone the person had, so he plugged it in the wrong hole, and then they come in, he's got to take the radio back out and swap it, right? That's a pain. Or if a customer upgrades or downgrades, depending on your opinion, between an iPhone or an Android phone, and now they have to come back and see you to either make a setting change or swap a cable or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's just a pain, right? So from the top down, it just made life easier for everybody involved, and we continue that. Like, we're always improving that particular technology. But now with that 9500 in the middle there, we've added the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. We just keep getting better at kind of that ease of use and ease of integration, So, and then my favorite part of this slide is the next piece. And I've said this 1,000 times. It's always true. This is by far the most popular brand that you will ever have in your store in terms of car audio. Okay. So, or even consumer electronics for that matter. Most of you are not Apple dealers. That's probably the only one that could kind of challenge that, right? So
I would say, yes.
yeah, but like, there's not a single person that will walk into a car audio shop that hasn't used or owned a Sony product, right? So, from back to my generation with, or even your generation with Dream Machines or, Walkmans and stuff like that to, current, PS5 guys or TVs or home theater.
Dude, my youngest, it's Spider-Man. When he thinks of Sony, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's
crazy. Huge size Spider-Man, man. That's like giant.
It's pretty interesting because this is a brand that every single generation has some sort of iconic, identifiable thing related to it, right? There's some that kind of have a flash in the pan and they're popular for maybe a generation or maybe a part of a generation. But, it doesn't matter who you are. You have some experience with the Sony brand and maybe you've even owned a Sony product. And you have some you have some kind of general, consensus that it's good quality product, right? So that's probably the biggest thing for us is we just want to kind of maintain that,
I gave this some thought about that statement right there. And it's one thing to say it's the most recognized brand in the industry, which it is, which I'm not even arguing or debating. But there's something to be said about the fact that a brand this big, globally, historically, categorically, is now saying that, yeah, we got you covered, through your core stuff, right? Your regular source units, your base level, entry level speakers and stuff. But now to push the envelope in this really, in the Sony perspective, a tiny niche industry, but yet put the resources towards developing something like mobile ES at a time like this. I think that deserves a hats off. That's my
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's we want to make sure that we're always producing excellent product, no matter what the category is, right? So, we can't take it easy. We can't produce a horrible head unit because that will tarnish so many other categories worth of product in that consumer's eyes, right?
Yeah,
so
one bad experience leads to A, B, C, E, F, G.
Yeah, I mean, so when we're like, I hate to bring up like a Best Buy or a large chain store or anything, but when you walk through every electronic category, we have products in all of them, right? So, you make that circle track, journey around the store.
Yeah.
Everybody does, right? But that's the whole reason they've designed it like that. But if you had a bad experience, you're going to disregard our brand in every one of those categories now. So we just can't take that chance. We have to be producing good product. We have to be supporting it well, I think we may have lost Ben there. There we go.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll into like some of the support mechanisms that we have for retailers. So we've talked about the benefit of kind of having Sony in your store, most widely recognized consumer electronics brand that you're going to carry and stock in your store. So the visibility, the kind of the recognition of that's going to be great. But you as a retailer, it's super important to get the support that you need. And I know right now, like up there in Canada and in parts of the US, it's remote start season. So audio is like a secondary thing right now. So we get that. But it's important that on the occasional audio build you're doing during this season, that you are getting the support that you need very quickly, right? So we offer a couple different ways to get support to you in a pretty efficient fashion, okay? So the most direct way to get in touch with our team is our retailer support line at the top of the screen there. It's 855 Sony 12V. So it's toll-free number. Very simple, right? And it's to the point. Who you're going to contact is my tech team. So you'll occasionally get me. I got to be honest with you. I'm doing trainings like this a lot and doing other projects. So it's pretty rare when I answer it. But we've got Michael Rundle up in Detroit, Michigan. He's the sales rep of the year for this last year for MEA. We've got Ryan Kuhlman in St. Louis, Missouri, who's kind of our graphics and media guy, but he's also a Sony expert. We've got Jared Bali, who's kind of our in-house fabricator. He'll answer that phone occasionally. He's out in Phoenix, Arizona. We've got Richard Wong out in Dallas, Texas, kind of a multi-role player, can do just about anything on the team that needs to be done. And then we've got our new guy, Jacob Gromowski in Atlanta, Georgia, who newest guy to the team. He's being groomed to kind of take over some big accounts here. And he's kind of our East Coast representative with the Sony lineup, and we're grooming him into that tech line as well. So you've got 5 or 6 people that'll be answering that phone call. And every one of us has done a billion things to our Sony products, so we can answer your questions very effectively.
Need to make a note on a couple things here. So you're telling me the people that are answering that 1-855 number is your entire team?
Yeah, it rolls to all of us. Yep.
Wow, that's special, because I haven't heard that yet. This is not a group of people that you've hired third party to answer phone calls. This is actually the people that work for Sony Car Audio.
Yeah, and I can tell you guys about. Sorry, I can tell you guys about my experience.
Yeah, let me hear this. This is interesting.
Every time I call that number, I know somebody picks up the line. And again, as Chris mentioned, it's his team of people working. So they're experienced car audio guys. We're not talking to a call center where you're just going to get a ticket number and someone's going to may call you back. You get the problem resolved on the spot.
Yep.
That's a pretty unique situation.
So, the biggest point of that is these are people who have, because everybody on this team has been an installer and a salesperson, maybe even a shop owner, maybe even a distribution guy. So there's not a single question you can pose to somebody on this team that we can't get answered very quickly for you, So there is another number. If you open the Sony box and look in the manual, that's the consumer number, okay? Mm-hmm. Don't ever give this number on the screen to a consumer, okay? Because we don't answer consumer questions. That's your job as a retailer to handle your consumers, right? But if you need support, then you've got literally the highest level tech support coming your way by dialing that number.
Installation, functionality, setup, this type of stuff.
It can literally be anything from a tech issue, trying to install something, from a functionality issue. You're having trouble with a CarPlay or Android Auto or something like that. Maybe it's a sales question. Maybe you just don't know how to demonstrate a functionality properly. We've got all of that experience that we can help you with.
Okay. Very, very nice.
So next up is our Facebook dealer page. So that's the URL in the middle there, and that ridiculously long search term, which is the name of the page. That's a great place to hang out. If you're not already in there, that link or the access to that will require you to answer a couple questions about who you are, right? So if you're already in there, you've already gone through that gauntlet. It's not hard. What you have to do is prove that you're a Sony supporting retailer. We don't just let anybody in there. You have to show us a picture of your Sony display or the product in your Sony stock room, okay, or a demo car. So those are the qualifications to get in there, because we have to know you're actually representing our product, right? So once you're in, it's an awesome place to just kind of learn by osmosis, right? So you can kind of just sit there and lurk and observe to your heart's content. That's totally fine. You'll see pictures of our products being installed in all kinds of different vehicles, maybe different ways of using the product or installing the product that you hadn't thought of, maybe some configuration, setups for an audio system that might inspire you to do something differently. One of the biggest benefits, in my opinion, as kind of a tech guy, is there's 1,000 pictures of every one of our products in a different vehicle. And you can use the search term, which I know a lot of guys refuse to use, but that search bar, you can type in AX8000 and Jeep, and it'll bring back every post that's got an AX8000 and a Jeep, right? And so now if you've got a customer talking about maybe getting an AX8000 or 8100,
this is what it would look like.
Yeah, this is exactly what it's going to look like in your vehicle, right? So, and both you've got the confidence now that it can be done. And you've even got a contact now, because you know who posted it, on maybe some tips on getting it done if you're not sure. But then the customer.
Bro, is this a smooth install? Was there any extras that I need to know about?
Right, exactly. So this is just a super valuable resource. And then above and beyond that, we've got links to our firmware updates. We've got links to documents in there, that like comparison charts, things like that. There's images of the product in case you want to market them locally. There's just a ton of stuff in there. You've got access to me and everybody else on our team, direct access. Of course, you've got my contact information immediately, because I'm the one that's vetting you to get in the group. So a lot of people ping me just throughout the day with questions and stuff. All of that's just simply a tool to get you more information, right?
It's a resource.
So, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then finally, last but not least, that URL at the bottom is a link to get on our dealer locator. So I want to talk about that for just a second. There are actually two different dealer locators on our Sony.com page. Do not go to the bottom of the page and try to click the dealer locator. Okay, that's the wrong way to do it. What you'll want to do is click either a core line product, which would be any of the R, FB, GS, stuff like that, the core line stuff that's been out for a while. And then there's an ES, dealer locator, because those guys are a separate group, right? So if you wanted to look up on whether you're on that actual core locator, just click a product here. We'll pull up the new AX3200. And then once this page loads, you'll see this where to buy. Okay, that's what you'll click. You'll click find stores nearby, and then you'll type in your city or your zip code. Okay, if you don't come up in the first couple, results, or you're not on that list at all, that's when you would fill out that URL to get your information loaded. Right now, let's go back and show you.
To be clear, Chris, this is North America, so Canada inclusive?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. So let me try to go to mobile ES here. And so same thing here, but it's a different locator. So keep that in mind. This will be a different set of retailers that show up. Now, it just happens to be the same retailers because they're authorized for both in this area. But you would have a separate group within this ES category. So do the homework first to make sure you're not actually on there, because we have most of our retailers in there from our distributors. Okay. But if you're not in there, for sure, fill out that link. I'll go back to that real quick, and you'll have, we'll get all your information. I'll verify you. Here's another little secret. If you're already in the Facebook dealer page and you're not yet in the dealer locator, I don't have to do any approval. You've already gone through the approval process that you carry Sony product, right? If you're not in our Facebook group and you request access for that locator, I've now got to contact you to find out if you're actually a retailer and kind of verify with your distributor that you're buying product, right?
All right, cool. I got to take a second to talk about these two logos in the bottom right of the screen here. I mentioned that, through the crazy year and a half that we've had, Sony's been able to really break through in a couple of things. But, I feel like we need to mention this top vendor award, as well as a couple awards coming out of SEMA just 2-3 weeks ago. So can we spend some time to acknowledge that, please, Chris?
I mean, sure. We don't really kind of brag, but
it's something that needs to be mentioned because a lot of people worked hard to gain these recognitions. Right?
Yeah, they're up there just to kind of remind people that we're legit, not to brag, right? So the reason we feel like we're legit when we win these awards is because the ones that are on the screen there from the Mobile Electronics Association, those are voted on by you, the retailers, right? So that's a legit source of information and voting. That's not skewed by anything else, right? We're not paying somebody off to get that award. So for you guys to select us as Auto Sound and Processing Vendor of the Year 4 times, that's pretty awesome. And Top Vendor Award. Those things really just kind of make us feel like we're actually doing our job okay, right? And it means that we've done it in a fashion that you've noticed. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the SEMA one that you mentioned, we actually just won 2 awards there. One was for the best mobile electronics product. That was for that XAV 9500 ES. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that was for the best mobile electronics product in the whole show. And then we also got a secondary award, which was the best global media presence for that same exact product. So that means we're marketing that product well, we're marketing that mobile ES line well, and people are recognizing that,
That's big. All mobile electronics. That's not like best source unit. That's all mobile electronics at SEMA.
Yep.
Congratulations to the Sony team for that one as well.
No, thanks, man. Yep.
All right.
Well, cool. So, so we've been talking about support. I wanted to bring up one more cool thing if you've got the time. So, I want to show the support by Sony apps. So this seems kind of silly, right? Like, who needs an app for support? But this isn't how to get in contact with us. I want to be very clear. but this is a way to kind of keep track of what's going on with the Sony products, right? So look up support by Sony in your app store, whether it's Apple or Android. It's the same exact app on either platform. So what I'm showing you will exist on both platforms. And that's the icon that you're looking for. Okay. But let's go through, and I'm actually going to show you real quick, just in person here, what that app looks like and what you can do with it. So hopefully you guys can see my my app on the screen. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and tap that logo there, and this is going to fire up the app. And you can see that this is my home page, and I've already added a couple units as favorites, quote unquote, to my product mix, right? Now, keep in mind, this is for any Sony product, not just car audio. So if you personally have like a home theater receiver or a sound bar or something like that, that also has some sort of firmware on it, it'll be in here as well. Okay, so you can look that up and add that too. This is a great way to kind of keep track of the products that you stock or have stocked for when a customer comes back or has a question or an issue, right? So let's say I installed an AX1000 for somebody, and they're now complaining about they updated their iPhone to iOS 15, whatever, and now they're having some issues with sound or with connection or something like that. You could very quickly click on that AX1000 to see if there's a firmware update for it. Scroll down here, and you'll see downloads, and sure enough, there's a firmware update for this. Now you can also look at this firmware update, and you can see what was improved or modified in this. Okay, so let me look at the improvements here. There you go. So the benefits of that particular firmware may or may not include what they're looking for. This one, shows you that there's a couple of navigation guidance things and maybe some FLAC upgrades. So really nothing directly related to what they're experiencing. So then it would trigger you to call that 855 Sony 12B number, right? So I want to take you through real quick. Good.
Sorry, this is not just for dealers.
This is for anybody. So a consumer could get into this too. Yeah.
If they want it. All right, cool.
Yeah, it's available to anybody. Yep.
I would mention that I would think everyone, even on the sales floor, should have this tool. And this would help them navigate through feature sets, you name it, downloads. It's just that being that smart friend. When you have this app, you can talk about more about the product with your customer.
Yep. 100%, so the message icon down in the middle there tells me that there's a new message. And that may or may not be related to anything that you've got to deal with, but you can see the list of messages on the screen there and when they were posted. So you can see when the firmware updates went up. You'll get an alert if you've got a product saved as a favorite when there's a new firmware update. So you'll know right away. There'll be an icon that pops up on your phone. You can go here and see what it involves and then get those products updated in your store. Honestly, the biggest benefit to me is putting the products in, having this resource available for either an R&R or an upgrade. So maybe somebody's had a deck installed and they're coming back for a base upgrade. And maybe they had one of the very early AX8000s that did not yet have the web link upgrade or the custom wallpaper upgrade, right? Because we launched that firmware for that product probably 4 or 5 months after its launch, right? So let's say you did that radio initially when it first came out for them. Now they're back in your store for a base upgrade or some sort of amplifier upgrade, and you notice that they've got an older firmware. You can actually upgrade the firmware on the spot for them, right? And you're also kind of a winner because you're adding some features and functionality to their already existent deck, right? So now you're a hero to the customer. You've added some extra capability with the web link feature, and you've added some customization capability with the wallpaper upgrade, right? So just some cool things that you as a retailer can take advantage of, because we want you to look awesome, right? We always want you to look awesome to your customer. And that kind of gives you an extra tool to do that.
I'm not going to lie either. I kind of expect this level of extras from a brand like Sony. So to see it now that I actually see what they are, I get it. I totally get it, because it is a bigger brand. And there's, in my mind, as a consumer, as somebody in the industry, there should be more resource towards it, and it should be a leader in many different ways. And that's kind of how we look towards a brand like Sony. So yeah, very cool to see it.
I want to show real quick how quick and easy it is to add a new product, right? So click this plus icon down in the bottom right, and then just start typing in. We talked about the AX8000, so we'll just kind of type that in there. Oops. And it's right there on the screen. So we're going to select that. And so it brings up the product page, right? And then down at the bottom, that add button, once I click that, it's now added to my home screen. It also tells you immediately that there are 2 messages about the AX8000. Do you want to view them now? So yes, we do, right? So we want to look and say, okay, that's cool. Some firmware updates, some support updates, blah, blah, blah. Firmware upgrade to 1.12. Let's go ahead and check that one out, and we'll see what's in it. Okay, benefits and improvement, some FLAC upgrade capability, and some firmware security. That's it, right? Not a big deal.
The contact support tab there that I saw on the bottom, that's not the same as the 1855.
Yeah, so keep in mind that this is consumer, available. So that's a consumer tech support line. That has nothing to do with us. I would always, as a retailer, rely on our 855 Sony 12V number or our Sony dealer Facebook group page.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
Clear as day.
Deal. Very cool. So that's about it from the support side for me. I'll put that slide up there one last time for somebody to screenshot if they want. But, we do our best to try to help these guys any way we can.
Nima, anything you'd like to add to this? What the incredible tools that Sony offers?
Yeah, so basically just mention that if techs, installers, salesperson, if they have an issue with a feature set or something just not working right, we highly recommend for them to contact the support line called the 855 Sony 12V number, speak to one of Kris's team members, let them tell you from their professional opinion what needs to happen first. And after that, if there's additional support needed, by all means, you can call the office, speak with me personally, or with your field reps.
Very good. Very cool.
Well, that should be your first main point of contact.
And this is for specific to our Canadian Sony dealers.
That's correct.
All right. So let's see. We've done the tour. There's a ton of benefits to becoming a partner and a retailer for Sony. I think Kris has clearly demonstrated a couple key ones there. Starting off with a couple key, you call them points. It's kind of like pillars, right? Pillars that represent what the Sony brand is all about. And the one that really stands out for me is the most recognizable brand in your store, bar none. So it's almost like, how can I say this? I remember back in the day, I'm just going to go back in the day for a second. Sony used to have their own stores, right? It meant something. There was a brand to it because it was an elevated product. Even selling I remember Mobile ES was in home theater. Man, it was awesome. I really feel they've done a knockout job with this one. I mean, if you don't mind, I've been staring at those boxes this entire session. Nima, can you go ahead and grab one? Because I just want to see something in detail here, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah.
See, first of all, the boxing looks awesome.
You got it. This is a beautiful box that's laminated in full color. And not only it's a great product inside, but outside it's well presented. This beauty box is going to look great on your sales room. And customers, by looking at it, touching it, they'll know that they're getting themselves into this quality product's going to get into their vehicle, and it's going to outperform whatever they had before. Yeah. So I think there we go.
Yeah, sorry about that. They just stand out. It's not just the box, but the box kind of just puts the cherry on top for me, if you know what I mean, right? Did we get a chance to really explain, or do we want to just touch on a couple of the key requirements for those that are curious about the Sony ES who might not have heard about this yet? I doubt they haven't heard about it yet, but
okay. Well, I can definitely quickly touch base again on that. If you're a current Sony dealer, all you would need to do is contact your field rep or myself here at the office, and we would basically evaluate your territory, number one, and two, offer you what's involved to become a dealer, share with you all the paperwork, and if everything is good to go, we send an electronic document to you, which you would review, sign, send it back to us, and then the ball just starts rolling from there on. And again, just a couple of other things to mention over here. This is a protected line to the dealers where your territory will be looked after. by yourself, and we would basically back you up if there's any foreseen issues that we see out there.
It's an exclusive opportunity for those dealers tuning in. I think it's pretty clear Gentec is aggressively seeking some dealers, not only for the entire Sony brand, but and specifically also mobile ES, which is a new opportunity. Which let's be honest, it's not for everybody, but for those that are in that game, man, it's a very, very sweet opportunity to take a closer look at. I put the numbers down on the screen below. If you're interested in more information on Sony car audio products in Canada, you're going to want to contact Nima and his team at Gentec. You can visit gentec-intl.com or give them a call at the number below. Kris, last words to our Canadian dealers, or at this point we have international viewers. Sony's been rocking it this year. This is our last broadcast until I hit you up again in 2022. Any last message that you have for all the dealers out there?
The story is actually exactly the same as always. We strive to support you as an independent retailer. Like, that's our biggest goal. Like, we want to have great product. We want to have great success. We want to make money. But the biggest goal that we have is to support our retailers, because those other things fall into line if we're doing that, right? So we can't possibly support you better if we don't know how we can, right? So communicate with us. Communicate with Gentec or your U.S. distributor here if you're based in the U.S., or your regional guy if you're out in the rest of the world there. But let us know how we can do better, right? We through many years of Sony now, we have taken direct dealer feedback about product, about design, about support issues, things like that, and constantly strive to make those things better, right? So I think we've done a fair job at doing that. It's very hard to steer the ship when you're the car audio division in the big Sony, cruise liner, right? But we've done a really good job of kind of supporting our retailers, and like we mentioned earlier, like those awards kind of indicate that's being recognized a bit. So we want to keep doing that. Listen, inventory and supply chain. We're no better than anybody else. We're no worse than anybody else, right? We're doing our best to supply retailers with great product continuously, right? We're not going to make product any worse to try to get it here faster. We're not going to flood the market with cheaper product to try to accommodate, the need for product out there. So if you guys can bear with us while we're kind of getting all that stuff back up to speed, then we would appreciate that support. We've always got your back, and we'll do whatever we can to help.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much for taking the time, as always. Pretty exciting stuff. I know you got more stuff up your sleeve, because I just happen to know. But we'll be circling back with you for sure, Kris, in 2022. Have a great holiday, and thanks so much for all the time you made for us this season.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thanks, Kris.
So here you have it, Nima. There's a reach out. There's the message. We've got the expert that came on, walked us through some of the, we didn't spend the time today talking about how many watts and power handling and RMS. That's that is not what today was about. Today was to reinforce, the key benefits of being a partner with Sony for Sony car audio product in Canada.
You got it. Thanks, Ben. And thanks to all of our dealers out there that supported us throughout. And we are going to basically make sure we can do our best to bring product to your stores and in any way possible that we can. Especially right now with the BC issue crisis, we've been air flying in products and at a reduced air freight cost to the dealers, and subsidizing that air freight cost just to make sure that product is sitting at the dealer's shelves before the holidays, and just letting you know we would always be there for you in any way possible.
Let's see who picks up all that product sitting next to you.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right there.
Come on in. We got some.
Listen, I'm going to close the show today. We've got a link to a video. We've talked about that XAV 9500 ES. Sony actually came up with a really cool video to kind of go over the features. I want to close on that, but before I go there, Nima, thank you to you and Eddie and the team over at Gentec for being a part of CMA this year. And we look forward to all the new stuff coming down the pipe for 2022.
Awesome.
All right, here we go. Let's take a look at a closer close-up of the XAV 9500 ES brand new head unit in the mobile ES line by Sony. There you have it, a full video on that new 9500 unit. Make sure you take a look at it. I've gone ahead and pasted the link to that direct video if you want to go ahead and check that out one more time. Thanks for tuning in to this connected lunchtime learning session. It was all about Sony and Gentec. Be sure to tune in next week. And that's it for today. So thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Goes topics. I mean, yeah, let's talk about today we're gonna go
Yo.
topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?